You mentioned your husband. Was it like a breakthrough in your life? Was it like a total change of pattern? How did that happen? I
Yeah.
don't know the story really, and if you would like to share.
No, yeah, absolutely. Before I met my husband, I pretty much just was thinking of just myself. I wasn't. I didn't. I didn't. Some people want a relationship. That wasn't me. So everything was about me, me, me. Now it's about us, us, us. That's the difference. And I learned that from him because my husband has an incurable disease that's not going to go away. He has Parkinson's disease. So I came into the picture knowing like, okay, either we're going to make this work or I'm going to turn and run away. And I didn't run away. 20 years later, I'm
Wow.
still with him because even though it's challenging on a day-to-day thing, he is not going to go through this disease alone, period. I'm not a doctor or anything. I'm not even a superhero, but I do what I can to be not only his husband, but also a caregiver. And it's not like I woke up one morning and said, I think I want to be a caregiver today. It just happened. So that I learned a lot because 20 years ago, I never thought I would ever A, be in a relationship, B, be a caregiver for anybody. Now it is. And I'm a fighter, so I keep going. That's just, yes, it's challenging. Yes, it's frustrating. Yes, there are days where like, oh my God, I want to be by myself. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, it's all of that. That's normal. But at the end of it, he's going through something that's never going away. Parkinson's disease. He's had it for over 20 years. So he's had it before he even met me.
Mm-hmm.
And he deals with it on a day to hour, minute by second, moment by moment thing. I will never know what that feels like unless I happen to get Parkinson's disease. All I know is it's draining for both of us at times, but it's also, I try to keep him strong because he is a strong person. Sometimes he doesn't realize how strong he is. I have to remind him, but he is a strong person. And me, I feel like I'm a husband, I'm a drill sergeant, I'm a housekeeper, I'm I'm a I'm a director. I mean, I have a lot of hats, and literally, I own a lot of hats. But
That I
it's
know.
yeah, but it's just that's just how it is. And he's there for me. I'm there for him. Um, he has told me in the past that he gets strength from me, and I also get strength from him too. But I'm more concerned about his strength because he doesn't use his strength as often as he should. And
I hear a lot of unconditional love and commitment.
hmm
How does it feel as a person to experience that? Do you think you learn how to be that, or you become that?
you said it correctly the first way. You learn how to be that.
What do you think that motivates a person or inspires a person to be that or become that?
Well, circumstances, your situation. If you're put in a situation where, okay, this person is this way, are you going to deal with it or walk away? You deal with it. In my case, I dealt with it because I could have. On our very first date, he told me he had Parkinson's. That was my cue right there to either go, well, it was very nice meeting you, bye bye, but I didn't do that because back then I was like, okay, I've heard of Parkinson's. Michael J. Fox has it, Muhammad Ali had whatever, and that's all I knew about it. But then I got books and started reading up on it, and so from there I learned a little bit more. And then about 8 years ago, he got what is called the deep brain stimulation surgery, where they attach a wire to his brain into a connected through his neck into a battery thing that's embedded in his chest. And it's like an 8-hour surgery. What it does, it slows the Parkinson's symptoms down. It doesn't get rid of it, it just slows it down, where he's able to do things that he couldn't do before the surgery, such as buttoning buttons on a shirt and all that kind of stuff. He couldn't do that really before. The dyskinesias, the trimming and all that slowed down. Now, the thing about the surgery, he had to be awake the whole time. Imagine being on an operation table and you can hear the doctors talking to you while they're testing movement. That At that time I knew that I was in this for the long haul, because I was at that hospital every single day to make sure he had the best of care, that the nurses were paying attention, the doctors were doing what they were supposed to do. And we had only been like together for about maybe about 4 years when the surgery thing happened. And so I said, okay, well, I'm in it now. I can't leave him alone with all of this. So
Oh,
it was challenging. I learned a lot quick, just about how things are run and how to do all this stuff. Um, but yeah, it's just I was in it. I'm still in it, and that
well, I commend you. You have such a big heart.
yeah. Well,
That's very noble.
just and it's not like I'm trying to win some husband of the year award. I just if you have something that's like a disease or illness, I don't want you shouldn't go through it alone.
Yeah.
You know, so and I just don't want him to go through this thing alone.
Shout out to Robert. You said something the other day. Be the be the first in doing anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you tell me more about that? If you had a lovely experience.
Uh. Well, yeah. Being the first to do anything, I think, is a big deal. My mom, she was the first black school teacher in my hometown back in the 1950s. She always played it down, though. She still plays it down. But I'm like, mother, look, you were the first black woman to be a school teacher in my hometown, the Bay Area, California, back in the 50s. And I grew up hearing these stories that she would say about, the other white teachers didn't talk to her, they ignored her. Their parents were pulling their kids out of the classroom because they didn't want some little colored woman teaching their kids. And this wasn't the Jim Crow South. This was just the Bay Area, California in the 50s. And my mom had to endure all this garbage. And so, but she was strong and she said, look, I'm here to teach these children. And, I don't care if I have 32 kids in my class or 2 kids in my class, I'm teaching them. So, and she did. And she wound up eventually becoming a school principal, in my hometown. And
And then you played a part in making that happen for her,
yeah,
right?
fast forward years later, actually about 4 years ago, I called up the local newspaper in my hometown and got all the editor on the phone. And I said, are you aware that, you know, the very first black school teacher in this town is still alive and still living in the town. And they were like, well, how do you know that? I go, because she's my mother. And so, and so then they, okay, we want to do a story on her and an interview. My mom was like, why are you bringing all this stuff and everything? And I'm like, because you should be in a museum. And now she is in a museum in the
She
local.
is.
Yeah, just a whole exhibit of my mom's legacy for, that town, my town, with original artifact. My mother had the original telegram from the 50s that I never saw before. She had it in an old shoebox. I go, mother, how come I've never seen this telegram telling you that you got the teaching job? Because I didn't think it was that big of a deal.
Oh my God.
So now that original telegram is on exhibit with some original photographs of her with her first school, the teachers and the students and all that kind of stuff in this exhibit in the museum. But I never saw any of that. She kept it all in a box. So, so yeah. But so I like the fact that when we're all dead and gone, my mother's legacy will still live on. And
Aw.
you know,
What is the next thing that you want to be the first ever in?
I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, you can share it. Do you want to share it?
I don't. Just it's not necessarily being the first. I just want to as we talked about earlier, I just want to just do what I want to do in life. You only got one shot of living the way you want to live. So just get in there, do it, get whatever rewards or accolades, and then ride off in the sunset. Hopefully content, like, yeah, I did it my way and keep going. And that's it.
How do you treat is a good word.
Huh.
How do you treat criticism?
All depends on how much I drank that day. um
Let's say sober. How do you how do you treat criticism sober?
yeah, okay. As much as I hate to admit it, it's not, you have to remind yourself it's not personal, but it comes off personal because, like, if you write something or do something or draw something to go, well, I think you could add this more to what you wrote, or you can maybe paint it differently. You're telling me how to do something that I created in my mind. So yes, how would I not take that personal? So, but yeah, they're not, I don't know. I'm still learning that one because more and more I'm at an age, well, I've always been that way. Even when I was a kid, it's like, I'm doing it my way or no way. And if you give me some advice on something, yeah, that's your choice. But whether I act on it or use it, probably not. I'm just gonna do it my way.
I understand. So I think thank you for explaining that. What I would like to know is that when we receive criticism, we might like do something on the spot in relation to the criticism that is received immediately.
Yeah.
But some of us take it with and dwell on it and
Mhm.
meditate on it.
Yeah, I
You
know.
know what I mean. So is this something that you do as well, or do you just receive it, react, and it's gone? Because the way that we handle criticism can shape us or break
Yes,
us, right?
that's true. I
So how do you manage that?
I listen to it. Sometimes if I feel like if the criticism is like way off base, I'll voice my opinions because I'm not the type to leave my mouth shut. Um, but for the most part, I just listen and go, okay, thank you very much, and I move on. I'm still gonna do it my way anyway. Because it's like, I didn't write the story. I mean, I wrote the story, you didn't write the story. I mean, you think about it, every single creative thing has been criticized. Every single thing. For example, The Wizard of Oz, the movie, the 1939 movie. It was a flop when it first came out in the theaters. They wanted to cut over the rainbow. They thought it slowed the movie down. They
Mm.
thought Judy Garland was too old to be playing a little girl. She was 16, playing a girl of 9 and 10 years old. I mean, they criticized and all that, but yet now it's considered one of the best movies of all time. You know, it, like people always want to try to change other people's vision, and that has always still pisses me off because getting back to Oz again, the original story, it's about a little girl named Dorothy who lives with her aunt and uncle on a farm in Kansas with her dog Toto. A tornado comes, blows her to a better land. She meets new friends, learns there's no place like home, goes home. That's the story. But there's always this group of people on the side that go, well, how did she wind up living with her aunt and uncle? What happened to her parents? Why did she name her dog Toto? How come it was a tornado that took her to a new land as opposed to a hurricane? Or they want to change something that the author didn't write. And that just gets on my freaking nerves. It's like, that is not what I wrote about. It's about a girl named Dorothy who gives a flying monkey flip. How she wound up living with her aunt and uncle. She's living with them now. That's what the story is about.
Just deal with it.
Like, just deal with it. Don't try to change the story. And that drives me up the wall when people you spend days, months, years creating something, and someone who has absolutely zero to do with your creativity tries to change it.
Oh, I love that one. Somebody who has zero to do with your
Creativity.
or in your
They want
industry,
to rework it. They want to
right?
rechange it. And that's not your vision. It's now their vision. And that, like I said, that infuriates me to this day. And I know most of the time they mean well. They're going, well, I think you should maybe flesh out these characters more when you. If I wanted to flesh it out, I would have fleshed it out myself. I don't need you or my Uncle Vito or the neighbor down the hall to tell me how to flesh out something that I created. You know, oh my God, that drives me up the wall. That's like a whole other conversation. That's a whole other show. It's just, it's just ridiculous, you know. But so that's why, you know, it's like stick to what you see in your head because most of the time you're going to be right. It's right because that's how you see it. That's how you wrote the story.
But isn't that your journey and your way anyway?
Yes.
I mean, so you said something very interesting. You said write your own story.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of us are living in the luxury of having everything in our disposal in order to do what we really want to do in life.
Right.
Still, which I think that on its own has a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
How somebody who is facing all these kind of different life challenges and has absolutely no idea whether they can even go down the path that they want to go,
Mm-hmm.
to pursue their dream. How do you think, and how would you advise actually somebody, because you had a very adventurous life and career yourself, and you have overcome a lot of different challenges and setbacks.
Mm-hmm.
What would be your advice to somebody like that who's dealing with a lot of stuff in their life already, and they haven't even started following their own dream,
Mm-hmm.
or they want to do something about it but they have no idea where to start, what to do, isn't even possible?
The first thing I would tell that person, which I also still tell myself, give yourself a day off to think, to clear your head. I have what I call silent Sundays, where, except for my husband, because we live together, I talk to no one. I see no one. It's a day of rest to, even if it's something just to do meaning, like to straighten out my closet or watch mindless old movies or television or whatever like that, a day to just shut up and let your mind open and clear. Usually that's how I plan my next week or my next whatever, going, okay, I have a day to just, for me, a day off. We all need a day off. And in that way, you can think about what it is you want to do next. But if you're always constantly on the move and all the other kind of BS and stuff that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, if you never just turn it off, even if it's for an hour, so you can let your mind catch up or breathe, it's pretty sad. And so you have to give yourself a day off. So then you can maybe make a list of like, okay, well, I'm doing all this other crazy stuff, but I also want to focus on this now. You know, give yourself a
Yeah.
day off.
Do you have any? This is a lovely, lovely suggestion.
Hmm.
Day off of silence.
Yeah.
Do you have other rituals? How do you recharge? How do you keep yourself as fabulous as you are
Yes.
all the time?
Uh,
And
it's
how
all
do you?
trick lighting. It's trick lighting. No, no. Um, yeah. Well, I could say something sarcastic like, "Oh, well, so long as the world has vodka, I'll be okay." And actually, there's some
Those are the ones who don't drink.
yeah, but no, it's again, I you have to keep thinking about that drive and that dream of yours. And I don't think I'd still be living in New York as long as I have if I gave up on that. I probably would have just said, okay, I'm moving back home and move back in with my parents or something and be miserable or whatever and get a, but I don't want to do that. So that's what really keeps me going. I still feel like that guy who first came to New York with one suitcase, no job, and $800 cash in his pocket. But I had a big ambition to go out there and kill it and do it. And I still feel like that. 26 years later, I still feel like that.
And you're killing it.
Thank you. I hope so.
You are killing it,
Because
dude.
I'm older and I'm crankier now than when I first came here. But I still keep going because no one's going to push me. I'm going to push myself,
You gotta push yourself.
because no one is ever going to push me. You know, I would.
That takes a lot of strength and self motivation and even
Yeah,
just power to push yourself.
yeah. But like I said, I'm older now. I mean, I'm not 20-ish. I'm not 30-ish. I'm not 40-ish. I'm almost in 3 years, I'll be 60. So I'm tired,
You
but
look
I'm still going.
fabulous. Yeah, listen. This is such an amazing story that you well these are such amazing stories that you and I really appreciate that you made time to share all this with us and
Of course.
let us have some of your wisdom
Uh,
learn from
well,
you.
everything I learned. I mean, I watch a lot of old movies, old TV shows, and I said, I want to be fabulous like that. I want to jump into the TV and be those images that I grew up watching, and saying, okay, I want to do something that is memorable or iconic or whatever like that. And I just really just sucked in a lot of that, because again, it's all about visual with me and the images that I to teach me how to draw. Or I took piano lessons too. I played by ear. I could hear a song on the radio and sit down and finger out the notes.
Wow.
I'm not Beethoven or anything, but I can play the piano. My husband's a better piano player. He's classically trained.
Wow.
But, I learned how to play, piano just by hearing a song on the radio and go, I want to play that same song I hear on the so I sat down and figure out the notes until I got the melody and all that.
Do you have a line of let's call it mantra
Okay.
that you tell yourself, if you would like to share, obviously, that you tell yourself every day. Is there a line in your head that runs on a
Yeah, well,
daily?
I said it a little. I think I said it earlier, but I'll say it again because I've been saying it a lot lately. Is like I didn't come here to play. I came here to slay, and I say that every day. Okay,
Love it. Love it.
because it's like I don't have time to play. I have stuff I want to do. I have things I want to do. You know, and what I also say is, I'll sit down and rest when I'm dead, but while I'm alive, I have things to do.
Yeah. What's next in your project besides Boom?
Boom.
Besides Boom,
I
that we're
have a
not gonna.
Yeah, I have a couple of films that I want to do, which I was blessed enough to write for two different celebrities who I'll keep their names private because they are famous. But I grew up watching them on TV when I was a kid. And then I had the pleasure of meeting and connecting with them. And for one thing, to have both of them on my speed dial, two people that I literally used to watch on TV. I still watch them on TV on reruns on and they want to work with me. They know my films. We talk on the phone, we send text messages. They love my scripts and they want to do a film project with me. And I'm like, it's that's just so cool. Someone who I used to watch on TV when I was like, 7 years old. Now I have a script that I wrote for them that they want to be in. So it's like we're gonna make this happen. Full circle in the sense that I saw you on TV as a kid. Now you're gonna be, that. So, and I have two different,
Project.
stories like that. So it's just I have to pinch myself like, wow, this is really happening.
I
So
love it. This is so
yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
So
So
exciting.
yeah, so those are the future things, but they will happen because they came into my life for a reason, and so it's like, wow, I'm gonna make it happen.
Robert, this was a treat. Thank you so much for carving time
Of
out
course.
of your busy life to be on the show, and you made my day.
Well,
It's
thank
always
you
a
for
pleasure to.
having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to work with you, to be around your energy. You have such vibrant,
Ah,
fun energy. It's just so inspiring to learn from your creativity and
thank you.
your art and all the things that you do.
Well, you and I, we ain't done. We're gonna do some more creative stuff. We ain't done. It
So just the case of missing errors was just the
was
beginning.
just the beginning. It was just the beginning.